Hello, here is the Lost Cosmonaut again with the fourth part of the second mission of the Morning Sun, the Morning Sun campaign in the Order of Battle World War II game. There we go. That was slightly a botched intro. So we're starting at the beginning of round 16. Now the enemy did a few turns. For one, that heavy infantry unit there bombarded our heavy infantry unit here. They moved their infantry from that tile to this tile, right where we are operating our river crossing, in order to attack the artillery unit. And the militia unit we were combating with the light tank here and the artillery, the cavalry unit there, fled into the mountains. Now I think we can risk that. I don't think they'll be able to cut off our supplies along this line here. Oh, and they are trying to launch their offensive here again. In the meantime, I have to say I'm rather happy that the units that they have here, right around this area that we want to conquer, in order to ensure our initial mission objective, which is the Beiping Jiangjiaoku. Anyway, this railway here. Well, that wasn't intentional, but it still makes sense, since it allows us to attack their anti-tank gun directly. And that is the element that keeps bothering us, since we are playing with a fairly tank-heavy loadout, so to speak. We want to get rid of their anti-tank guns. But what we'll, since we're already here, since we're already in the business of attacking the enemy, we will use this infantry unit to maybe help us. Oh yeah. Now we can use that tank unit to clear that out. Now, my concern is that there will be an infantry unit here in Gukan, holding that down. Not a fan, I'll admit, but possibly inevitable. Oh, and before we forget it, here we still have to land our fighters. Let's just land them and wait until we capture this airfield here. Then we will also deploy perhaps a tactical bomber, or purchase a strategic bomber that will help us conquer the province in depth, so to speak. Now, since we can, I think that this is a heavy infantry unit, so we're just... How far can they move? We're just going to move that unit there, this infantry unit there, bring that infantry division if you so want, there. Now what we want to do is conquer this town. We have to, in order to get over there. Where is our aerial reconnaissance unit? There it is. Let's just use it to scout out the road here to Tianjin. And since we're not going to bother pursuing that militia unit, that it's very weakened anyway. So we're going to recall the well, I think we can ignore them. I think they'll stay stationary in that town. They will. I doubt they will interfere with our railway connection. So let's start bombarding the enemy there. No. Well, we already used those. No. I wish we could just deploy them on the railway, but we wouldn't be able to redeploy them in action unless we captured a railway station. By that point, we would have captured this whole area anyway, and it would be useless. So instead we're going to use this tank unit here to some damage. To weaken that infantry division there. Here we have more heavy infantry. Just chip away, chip away. Ah yes, our artillery unit is still being attacked by their fighter plane. So in that sense, maybe it was foolish of us to commit our fighters back to the ground. We'll reactivate them anyway in the next round, since they have a fuel capacity of around 9 rounds. By that time, we would have captured this airfield here, and range will not pose a problem anymore with them. Oh, we can capture that town now. Well, let's do that. Let's move that infantry division there. And just keep attacking that enemy there. One more hit point. Well, we can ignore them for the time being, I think. And that concludes our round so far. Let me just see. No, we can't repair them at this stage. Let's end our round. Oh, and he is dealing damage to our artillery unit over there with his fighter. Ah, they lost courage concerning the attack from the northwest. Ooh, that hit us hard. Well, that hit that infantry unit hard anyway. I'm no fan at all of river crossings. But if we move the tank here, we'll have the possibility to attack the infantry units there and there with a tank, without them having the benefit of the anti-tank unit here. If we move closer to that town with this tank unit, that unit and that unit will have the benefit of that anti-tank unit. While both of these units are weak, they're not so weak that that I would want to risk. I don't think it's I don't think it's entirely proportionate yet. So I think what we're going to do, yes, is use this move with a tank here. Attack that infantry unit with a tank while it is crossing the river. Then use this infantry division to attack that infantry division. Before we do that, we're just going to start shipping, or rather making some progress on the road to Tianjin by moving that infantry unit there and using it to annihilate this enemy unit. There we go. we've moved this heavy infantry unit forward. We're going to use it to just soften the enemy. In preparation of the joint tank infantry assault we're going to conduct on it. There we go. Before we do that, I want to get the cavalry there. Now, attack. Good odds. Yeah, we're going to move forward with that infantry division. Next round, I don't think they're going to attack. We'll use that opportunity to reinforce them. Now, this unit is... yeah, of course there's... but, honestly... There we go. Able to, first of all, annihilate an enemy unit. Secondly, take it down, which is always good. Now, this infantry division has better odds against the anti-air gun, so we're going to attack that. Since what we want to do is soften this whole defensive... well, it's a sensible line that they have, because the artillery unit positioned where it is, yes, can cover, first of all, this whole peninsula, if you so want, yes, between these two branches of the river, and also attack whatever units we're using to actually secure the railroad. From that point of view, it is something that we want to take out as soon as we can. We will do this, among other things, at the... Well, no, that artillery unit will not survive for long, anyway. But we will need our fighters if we're going to target places as far as what is it again? Tianjin and Xiheying. Speaking of, that part is in fighting shape. This one isn't, that is why we reinforce it. To be honest, we may as well put the artillery units on on railway carriages. They are not going to reach the front lines in time to play a meaningful role as we conquer this pocket, so to speak. Now with the heavy infantry, let's just keep attacking them. Let's start conquering this bank of the river. We're going to move this infantry unit here. Since we don't have good odds against the infantry entrenched in that town, we're going to use this infantry unit to just chip away at their anti-tank gun. Wonderful. And now, this unit doesn't have the support of the anti-tank gun anymore, which means that slowly, we can converge with our armored units onto that point, which is the last primary, I think they call it victory point, in this game, which we need to secure this railway. So let's end our round. Let's move them forward on the railway anyway. Let's get our fighters to the front. We're going to use the artillery to close in on this last town, yes, this last pocket of resistance in many ways that prevents us from achieving the first of the primary objectives. Use this tank unit to eliminate that infantry unit. There we go. We will not conduct an attack on that infantry unit here. Instead we'll just reinforce that unit. There we go. This unit too we should really reinforce, which we're going to do. Instead we'll use that infantry unit there to hopefully take out their anti-air gun. We did, wonderful. So the southwestern bank, so to speak, of this central point of the map is in more or less in our control. Heavy infantry, just keep bombarding. Now their anti-tank gun is so weak, yes, that I will actually risk an attack on this infantry unit with the tank. And let's just start attacking that artillery unit. Oh, okay, no, they hit our infantry unit hard. Perhaps not the best idea we had. I'm still going to conduct an attack on this enemy infantry unit, division or unit here, with our light tank, because the time is getting a bit narrow. We can always reinforce our units on the way to achieve the second half of our mission objectives. Let's move that heavy infantry unit there. Use it to soften that unit. And this unit, we will just start down the path to capturing this town here. There we go. We've reinforced it. And let's end a round. If I'm going to be cynical, I will say that I'm not particularly plussed, so to speak, in the sense that I'm non-plussed. If we lose that artillery unit there, due to the raids by the enemy fighter. Ah, we can disembark. Okay, okay, okay. Well, this is going to be handy. And let's use it actually to attack their artillery unit, since that seems to be a real killer of our infantry units. There we go. Some reinforcements. Slide them up there. Oh, wonderful. We can use it to dislodge their artillery gun. We're going to use this infantry unit to attack their anti-tank gun. hopefully destroying it. Destroying it, in fact. We're going to now use this tank unit to hopefully destroy their artillery unit. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let's get that. Get the cavalry unit there. Not necessarily to deploy it yet, but we're going to use this tank unit to attack that infantry unit there. Caught in a pocket and without supplies, so by the next round they will be unable to resist, more or less. And instead of attacking there, we're just going to use this cavalry unit to annihilate that infantry division. Lovely. Now, the heavy infantry is going to continue with the bombardment of the defenders of that last town, yes, that we need to conquer, in order to conquer the whole railway. Their renegade militia unit doesn't seem to be too active, judging by the outlines of the front line here. I forgot to move our scout plane further forward. Okay, so we have genuine infantry there. One more there. There's bound to be another one there. Which I don't find too exciting as a prospect, but it's better to know after all. Let's just reinforce that unit. Are there any other units that we can reinforce since we're at it? No. We won't be needing them there, so we can just as well start moving them towards the capture of Tianjin. I hate that fighter. I hate him so much. Forward with our fighters. Get the artillery there. Use this artillery unit like that to attack that unit. Let's get an even better look of the enemy with our reconnaissance plane. So, by the looks of it, we only have infantry units to deal with here. Which means I'll deploy that artillery unit and this tank unit towards this front. We will use the light tank and this heavy tank to capture the city, this town down here. I decided to reinforce those units since I don't think that we'll need them to tear out the enemy there. Okay, we're going to use that infantry unit to just end this part. There we go. And that achieves the first half of our mission objective. This unit we're going to reinforce. There we go. The others we will embark, and that is why I was reluctant to use this heavy infantry unit to conquer that town, because I want them, I need them, to support our regular infantry units as they work their path down here. And again, I think I've said it before. I regret not having invested in some kind of in engineering units, since that would have helped us, for example, build a bridge here or there, anything to reach that town from another direction than just this road here. We've captured that airfield, so we're going to let's see what units we still have in our force. Huh? Won't allow us to deploy them yet, but well, let's just wait a moment longer. And end our turn, for that matter. It all goes by so quick, doesn't it? I guess I'll see you in the next round. When we will, I suppose, capture this. There's a fair chance that we will capture this town within the next 5 rounds. If not, well, 7 rounds. 7 rounds. I'll say 7 rounds. That's my prediction. This one will be trickier because it is precisely defended by another town where I can imagine that there will be defenders fortified. Can't use those. Okay. So I think I suspect that if we deploy, for example, artillery at all, we will be deploying it on the southwestern part rather than the western part of the map. Further in the north, it seems that our opponents don't have any serious intentions of mounting their cavalry offensive again, so I'm not worried there. And well, see you in the next round.